Hey, this is Joshua with the Atlanta Dreaming Pod here with Amber. I can be found at ENFP_hoops on Twitter, and she can be found at AmbeeWrites. And yeah, a busy day in free agency, but I want to start with the Atlanta Dream. Any surprises in us re-signing Coffee and AD?
It wasn't a big surprise to me only because I felt like that's where they were leaning to try to sew them back up, which is a good thing. Um, I mean, we didn't really they did great for us, so I'm not mad at it at all. So that was
Yeah.
a good pick. Yeah,
Yeah, and no, like they were on Instagram like the whole entire off season, so
exactly.
yeah, it was not a surprise. So,
Mm-hmm.
and Coffee, like I have not heard about this a lot, but
Mm-hmm.
like Coffee got the same exact contract that she did last season. So the exact same
Mm-hmm.
130 grand for 1 year. So I think it's kind of fitting. Like we didn't get a
Yeah.
full look. Like last season didn't really count with the unfortunate injury issues. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like it's a decent number. It's not too much. I mean, it can get a little iffy a little bit, but I'm fine with throwing her that money. I'm fine with it because you're gonna have to spend it somewhere. It looks like so.
yeah, and we have the cap space. Like we
Yeah,
have 480 around 483 grand, and we have 8 players signed.
yeah.
So that's like that's
That's two
over a
max
hundred
contracts right
thousand
there.
per player. So we
Mhm.
have the the cap space to do something. Like we've mentioned, like, and we'll go over like during the show and everything, but there's not like a ton of free agents right now, like especially since Azure is out of the picture. A lot of the other marquee free agents have signed. There's not one that will just move the needle, in my opinion, from what we already have. Like I feel like the foundation is already there and what is going to be our core offense unless there's a trade. Do you feel the same way, or is there a free agent that would make you really excited if they signed with a dream?
Nobody I can think of currently because there's not much left out there really.
Yeah.
There's a little like here and there, but nothing. Yeah, nothing to move the needle. But there could
There's some
potentially be
solid
a
death
trade.
pizza. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's what I'm leaning towards a trade. Like if there's going to be something that dramatically changes our lineup, it's
Mhm.
going to be through a trade. But yeah, there's depth pieces out there. Like yeah, that I wouldn't mind seeing in a dream uniform. Like
Mhm.
Rui out of the Mystics, who was just released and not
Oh yeah.
renewed. Like that's a 3 point specialist we can bring on off the bench
Mhm.
potentially and everything. But yeah, like honestly, like depth pieces you can wait a little longer. I'm not too
Mhm.
worried about um, filling out the rest of the roster, but man, I still want us to do something. We have the rights to Tiffany Hayes. I just
Mhm.
don't see, unless she's okay with playing off the bench, which if she is, I'll take that. That would be incredible. That would make our backcourt incredible. But I
Mhm.
still think she wants to start.
Mhm.
And
She
like,
should
yeah,
somewhere.
that's understandable.
Yeah.
But in giving a team the rights to her, like when she's played at an all-star level, when
Mhm.
she's healthy, I feel like we could get something. And
Definitely.
yeah, I don't know. I'm still fixated on the Indiana Fever just having so much cap space. They're about to draft Aaliyah Boston. Queen Egbo is right there. What do they want for her? Like,
Exactly.
especially defensively, because like offensively, she struggled a little at times, but we have Cheyenne. Like, I just want
Mhm.
someone that is going to play really well defensively at a high level and can rebound. And I felt like she did both of those things. So
Yeah. She's cleanup crew, so like we don't need her to do much outside of board and play defense. Like really,
yeah,
that's all we need. We don't really need her to score. So hey, pick up the
and
phone. Dan, let's make it
I
happen.
agree. I agree. And we like I don't know. I think we have the leverage to do something. In if they ask for that 8th pick and tip, would you take that deal? Like us surrendering that 8th pick and not having a pick in the first round anymore? Would you be willing to do that?
For Queen,
Yes.
nah, nah.
Okay.
Maybe a second round pick.
So the 15th pick would be in the cards for you.
It will be in the cards, just not the first. The first round pick, we have to draft somebody. We're gonna have to draft somebody. Like if we want Queen, I feel like the rights to tip in the second round pick is generous. So I mean, you're getting the draft pick.
The only way I would do it is if they give us like the 13th pick back in return. We move back a few spots. We still have 2 draft picks. Maybe like they throw in like Emma Cannon, who can be like depth for us, like in the front court and everything. Like,
I see where you're going with it,
but I see where you're coming from. It's just like I don't know. Like making a trade for Egbo would be a risk because it's basing everything off of one season and then giving up. On someone else. Like, I like Tiana Jackson. There's other centers like in the second round that I feel we could take with like Jessica Carter or Elizabeth Kitley. But yeah, I don't know. Like Egbo showed well in her rookie season. Like it would be someone that we could immediately slot. Like if we draft someone, there's not someone I'm comfortable playing right away. And Egbo, I would have that confidence. So
I feel that. I just don't want to give up. Like I'm trying to hold on to as much as we can because we need some stuff.
We do.
We need a little something.
Other than center, is there something else standing out in your mind that you think we need to pick up still?
Because I'm trying to think. So I know we have like pretty much the perimeter kind of shored up. Nothing that I can think of.
Yeah, and like depth pieces, like I could see it like we need another player for the wing. Comments like they brought up like Maya Caldwell, like
I know. That's who I want.
And I'm curious, does that potentially make Maya want to move like us getting AD and they would be the backup too? Because do you think Maya could play the 3? Would you be confident with that with her size?
I mean, she got heart.
Yeah, definitely has the heart.
Heart kind of trumps size sometimes. Depending on how, heart, and she plays hard. I don't know defensively what that would look like, but she's a dog, so I wouldn't be like strongly opposed to it. I don't know. It would just have to be, I'm not quite sure. Because like looking at the roster right now, I can't think of anything that we really need except to get somebody to play the 5.
Yeah, I would agree. And even if they're a solid 4, like, Cheyenne, like I want Cheyenne playing the 4, but she was playing close to all-star level at the 5. If her 3s had fallen down, she would have been an all-star caliber. Like she has the moves.
She took pretty good shots
to play inside. Defense, like I feel like it would be a better matchup for us in the 4, but she still, played decent. Like I don't know. I still think the best fits the 4, but I think we're still a really good team with her playing the 5 if we can get someone to play alongside her. So yeah, I don't know. Like, and Maya and AD, just going back to that, I just feel like there's nothing certain with either of them. Like AD obviously had the long COVID and was finally able to get back and played at a really high level at times. Maya, like 2 different stints, but again, it's a short sample size, like on what you're going to get. So
yeah, I really like what I saw, but it's just seeing if they can make the long haul for an entire season. That's what
I'm hoping too.
That's what I'm interested
I
in.
personally would pick Maya too, but there's not, I don't know, it's not overwhelming. Like I feel like Maya's going to succeed in this league, but there's just, again, it was like between the 2 stints, it equaled like a little over half a season that we got with Maya, and then AD probably around like 20 games that we got. So yeah, I would honestly, like you said, have them both in the fold. If Maya wants to come back with us, have them compete in training camp, see what can happen. So But
Mm-hmm.
I get why we signed AD because I don't know, it's just such a great story that they were in the first Dream commercial when we first started back into the franchise. Like, it's an
Yep.
incredible story, and I'm glad that they get to continue their journey with us. And like, this is someone that was the second overall pick. Like, that they have
Exactly.
immense potential. So I'm definitely
Mm-hmm.
not mad at the signing.
Me either. Good for them.
So but yeah, I'm very curious because you mentioned there was a source that said Atlanta could be potentially making a big move. I'm curious what that could be because there's just
Yeah.
not anybody that like just floors me on who we could get and everything. So
Yeah, but you never know with Pat over. He could make some type of crazy move that you weren't even thinking of that could push us further into playoff contention. But I don't know. We shall see.
and
Probably
before I
like
ask you
if
the
we
playoff
hopefully.
question, oh
Mm-hmm.
sorry,
Now go ahead.
just the chat brought up Monique. I just we talked about it before. I just feel like she's gonna move on to somewhere else. I feel like Nas did her role. I feel like Nia Coffey's gonna play at the 4 unless we make a major move and get that 5. And Nia played the 3 a decent amount in LA when I was watching film. So that wouldn't be wild her being a backup. But for right now, I see her starting at that 4 position. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
see room for Monique in the Dreams' future, but she is going to be a legitimate WNBA player and
Mm-hmm.
just high energy hustle player.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, another team will be really happy to have her, and I'll be rooting for her.
Exactly. My same exact thoughts because I really do love Mo. I would love for her to like take a leap at like scoring, but it just has not happened the way I wanted it to. It hasn't
Agreed.
happened. And that makes it a liability, especially like finishing around the rim. I'm like, you're right there. But
Yeah,
you know, just what Nas came in and was able to do her rookie year is like, well, cheaper option, and you don't
especially
have
if
it
she
for the long
continues
haul.
off that jump shot. Especially like if she
Exactly,
adds to
because
a
it
range
looked
that she didn't have at Michigan, like there's
exactly,
absolute potential. But
exactly, and it looked pretty good when she was shooting it. So hopefully that's been something that she's been working on, and I
I'm
think she's
sure.
playing AU this month, later
She
this
is.
month.
I am so like I am going to be
I'm
hooked to that. We
excited for
have
that.
Nas and Alicia in that. Like that is going to be
Yes,
so much fun.
that's
So
gonna be
I
great.
hope they're on the same team.
I hope
But
so. I feel like eventually they will be, because they
well,
draft
eventually they
every week.
will be, but
Yeah, eventually they will be. Either way, like how they draft the teams
oh
during the
yeah.
season. Yeah, so
And I love the concept. So
I do too. I do too. I'm looking forward to watching a little bit more this season than I did last season. I didn't really catch a lot of it, but um this season is gonna be I'm definitely gonna be tuned in like
me
a
too.
hawk. Yeah. I can't wait.
So before jumping on to other teams, where do you see Atlanta right now as far as playoffs? Like, do you see us as a contender with what we have? Do you see us like middle of the pack, someone that is like on the fringe of the playoffs, or are we still a lottery team? I don't think we're that last one, but
Yeah, I definitely think that we're a fringe playoff team. I feel like we still need to make probably one big move. We're gonna have to risk a little something to make something happen. But I feel like we have enough to like with Ryan. I feel like anything's possible. CP, she's gonna hold it down, and with the addition of Alicia, like that perimeter defense and that scoring is gonna be off the charts. So we're gonna be competitive in a lot of games. We might not win, against some of the bigger teams, but the games that we should win, I feel like we will. So I feel
whoever
like we're
those teams are
definitely
at the
gonna make the
bottom.
fringe.
But
Yeah, I'm not quite
yeah,
sure just yet, but I have an idea. I
yep,
have
and
an idea.
we will talk about that. And yeah,
Yeah.
I personally think we are middle of the pack. I think we're a little higher than fringe. We
Okay.
were already fringe before we made the Alicia trade. Like
True. True.
I feel like her coming on the roster, we're like fifth, sixth seed. Like a team that's not like well into the playoffs, but I'm thinking like how Dallas was last season towards the end, where they like got in by a few games. I feel like that could be us. Like, you know,
it could be.
Not
It could very well
not
be.
like close to the front of the pack, but not
Like all the
like
way
that close to lottery either. So that's where I see us now. But I agree, one big move and we're talking something else. So not contender. I think, man, maybe home court advantage. Like if we get that other move, I don't know about competing with New York and Vegas, but
yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be definitely very interesting moving forward. But I feel like we have enough to get to almost to the promised land. If we make that big move, then I'll be more confident saying that we probably be a top 4. That middle of the pack it's gonna be a dog fight.
I agree. Yeah.
Teams are in that middle that it's gonna be, I think, probably 1 through 11 is gonna be definitely at least one bottom feeder.
1 through 11. Dang.
I feel like 1 through 11. I don't even think it's gonna be 1 through 10. 1 through 11 is going to be a like probably like them top 2 seeds. Probably, well, maybe the top 3 seeds will be, they'll take care of themselves. But those those last 5
4 on
spots,
is I agree.
insane, and it's not gonna be much room for error. It's gonna be very interesting. I cannot wait to see how this is gonna shake out.
I agree, and I agree with you. I'm just hoping there's something more with us having the cap space, with us making that trade for Alicia to take that next step. I just feel like there could be another big move, and I'm just really hoping it happens. But moving on to the rest of the league, because there was just so much movement today, and I want to get into like our competition. What team do you want to start with?
Ooh, let's see. I mean, we can go ahead and get the top out of the way. We can go ahead and get Vegas and New York out of the way.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to spend too much time rehashing, beating a dead horse. Because I mean, Vegas, can we talk? Man, listen. What Vegas was able to do with like little to no cap room coming into, man, listen. That blew me away. Like once I heard the rumor about CP3 potentially having a meeting, I was like, that's where she's gonna go. That is where she's gonna go, because that is the best basketball decision for her. Because like, one thing about CP3, she want to win. And she want. She don't have that much time. She ain't got no time to wait. So I mean, she made a pretty good basketball decision, and I'm not mad at it. Even though I had something to say about the super teams, I did. I talked way too much junk. I know. I'm sorry. I'm gonna publicly rescind every single mean thing I've said about super teams. I said it publicly on Twitter, but I'm gonna say it on here as well. I renounce all of that negative talk around super teams, because of the tides, they've changed. And anybody that knows me knows that, CP3 and also NECA are, like, I love them so much, both of them, and I'm rolling with them wherever they go. And if we go into the Aces, not to mention Asia is my third slice as well. So the fact that her and Candace are gonna be playing together is like, oh my god, like I'm just getting, I can't wait. It's gonna be some beautiful basketball. I'm not even gonna lie.
And that's why I'm so focused on getting someone alongside Cheyenne, because like if we don't, we are. I like being the underdog. Like, it's fun. Like, I like super teams because it's fun seeing like major upsets. I'm really into that. So it's fun. It's good for the game. And I made a prediction on Twitter that the Dream are going to knock out one of those teams in the playoffs. One of those teams are going to fall to us.
You know what? I like that.
I
I
think
like that.
our
And
arena's going to be
hope,
rocking for our first playoff series in a long time.
listen, thank you. Because we need that out in the atmosphere because I definitely need to be at a playoff game this year.
But again, like you said, we need Pat over to get on the phones. This is
Come
not going to be
on.
good enough for that. But making the playoffs, I'm confident. But I want us to be really competitive. Where I don't want to feel like going into games against New York and Vegas, and New York having John Quell.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's also gonna be kind of a juggernaut, but it's not gonna be. I feel like, okay, I'm gonna put it like this. Stewie going to New York is great, but I'm not I'm not as excited about that as I would have been had she announced it and used her words. I feel like I'm not as excited about it. I mean, on paper, it looks pretty good, but I feel like there is going to be more of a transition to happen. It's not going to, like, I don't think it's going to gel together right away.
Okay.
I don't think it is.
And I was surprised that both didn't sign at the same time, Stewie and Sloot. And I was starting to feel like a little bit of a division when Stewie named her final two teams, the Seattle and New York. There was nothing from Sloot in regards to that either. Like,
Nothing.
I don't know. Like, if they were going to be making the same decision, like she would have made like a joke of making the same emojis and everything, or it coming out. It never did. So the initial report that we had earlier, like it was on there for like 10 minutes that Sloot was going to the Storm, and now she's back to being an unrestricted free agent. So yeah, I don't know. Like I felt like Sabrina was better at the two, like, and they traded Crystal Dangerfield. I just feel like there's a piece missing for right now if they don't sign Sloot. They're still, I don't know. I'm still really high on them. Like Stewie, John Quell, like that's ridiculous. But
that's gonna be scary. But it's just all depending on what they do at the one, because I do feel like Sabrina was better at the two. And I mean, it's depending on who they're gonna start at the three. I don't know what exactly they're gonna do, because they have.
I don't know how the lineup's gonna work either. Yeah,
because like I know who your 4 and your 5 is gonna be, essentially, because they could trade off whoever want to do what. I mean, I feel like John Quill probably would be the 5 and still would play the 4, but at the same time, like 3 at 3, I mean, Benaja, fine, great. But if we don't pull in Sloot, well, I'm not gonna do Benaja like that before I get cussed out. I'm not gonna do that because Naj is it, and I feel like she's a forgotten piece, especially if they're able to keep her, which I feel like they probably are leaning towards that. But it's still a question mark because somebody gonna have to go. Somebody gonna have to go. I feel like it's probably gonna be Dawson, because like that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
And also, you brought it up, like, how does this lineup look? Like Vegas, like there's foundational pieces in place. You know more what the lineup is going to be. New York, it's a lot of talented players, but where was
question marks?
Like Dolson and Han, where would that playing time? Like if John Quell wants to place the 5, like I'm thinking right now she plays the 4 and then Stewie the 3, and then Lainey would have to play the 2, and then Sabrina
I thought about that too.
1. Like, how does it all fit?
Exactly. I thought about it too, Stewie playing at the 3. Because I mean, she's Stewie, she can do whatever she wants, but at the same time, it's like I wonder how they're gonna maneuver these pieces. Like if they're not able to pull in Sloot, like Sloot, I feel like would solidify whatever plan they might have in place. But if they don't pick her up, it's like, well, what are we gonna do?
No kidding. So yeah, I would agree with you. Vegas over New York, but do you still feel like they're in the top 3? Like ahead of the
Because I feel like
there's too much talent. Yeah,
upwards. they're gonna feel upwards. Like you got 2 MVP candidates. Like it's bound to happen over and over and over again.
I agree.
So
And right
like
now, I'm not feeling like we would be able to hang around unless we just like get ridiculously hot like we did last season in the game against Vegas, where it felt like we
yeah,
couldn't miss.
man,
But it would take that kind of effort to be able to win right now, and I don't want that.
yeah,
So I want someone in tandem with Cheyenne. I think it's a
hmm
necessity if we're going to be competitive in these games and everything. So yep.
absolutely.
So you said there were 3 teams that were ahead of the group. So who's the third one? Who's the third team for you?
Washington.
Okay.
Washington, I still feel like, you know, I feel like every year, well, except for like a couple years in there, but like for probably in the past 5, 6 years, they have been in the conversation. If not, like they won in 2019, they were in the finals in 2018, and like they seem to always hang around and be around. So, we getting a healthy EDD. That's what the reports have been saying, that she's healthy and she's working on her game, which is scary because
That would
like
be.
with her being like playing like essentially half a season, she still like when she played very well.
She did. No, and it
So
was incredible. Like whenever she came in, like you think that there would be like lag, like there wouldn't be chemistry at times when it's back and forth, but like
exactly,
she like cannot believe just how smooth it was when she was in and just how different that Mystics team looks. So she's even able to play 3/4 instead of half. I agree with
exactly,
you. There's something there. But it kind of
exactly.
gives me the feel of the Liberty, like a lot of
A lot of pieces, yeah.
star power put together, but how does that lineup work and everything? Like, I was not expecting Slim Brittany Sykes to
Me
sign with the
either.
Mystics. That was one of the last teams I was expecting. So,
Me
really
too.
happy for her. 3-year contract. She deserves it. One of the best defenders in the
Absolutely.
WNBA. But I'm just very curious to see how they're going to use her and where they're going
Mm,
to get that scoring. Like defensively, they're going to be a monster. Like,
they
but I'm
are.
just curious, like where the point production is going to come from. So
Yeah, I feel you on that. But here's the thing. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but what I
okay,
will say is this. Slim, like she might not be as consistent of a scorer as she has been in her Atlanta days because she had to go out there and do more.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah, she had to do a whole lot, and she focused mainly on offense. When she moved to LA, she focused more on defense and became like a defensive star. So, I mean, people like because she played like primarily as like a little Swiss Army knife in LA, people forget that Slim got that bag. That offensive bag, she got it.
she has it at times. She really does.
She
It
really
can be
does.
there. It just hasn't shown up consistently. But yeah, it wouldn't
Exactly.
be a huge shocker if it turned around by any means. It just
Exactly.
hasn't
That's why I'm
lately.
like, I'm not saying that that's what she's there for because she's probably there primarily for defense. But like, let's not forget, if she could find the lane, if she can that little pull up from the free throw line, money when it's dropping, when she has like she got her juices flowing. I mean, I wouldn't count her out offensively. Defensively, we already know what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Like she
No,
literally
that team
changed
is
the
going to be
game.
scary defensively. Yeah.
Yeah, because like, yo, you think about Ariel Atkins, who's a solid defensive player. She's a two-way star. You got Cloud, who is a monster defensive player as well. That's gonna be kind of scary.
And then Shakira was already like scary, especially like the
Exactly.
second half of last season. Like her going under year 2, like
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm really excited for her development. So
that's gonna be something. And I'm very excited to see. But I also want to know like how that piece, I mentioned Ariel Atkins, who's kind of a similar player to Slim, and they just threw Slim a whole bunch of money. So it's just like So does that make Ariel like expendable at this point, or are y'all planning to roll with both of them on the floor at the same time? That's my biggest question mark.
And that's another team that I could see making a move. I don't know who they would move, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just still think they're missing like a true scorer that like that's their
Mm-hmm.
primary role, especially with the defensive pieces they have. Someone
Yeah.
that comes to mind, I don't know if you will agree to this, but we'll talk about the
Right.
Sparks next. But there were not exactly committing words made by Kurt Miller on Kennedy Carter today. It
Ooh, child.
sounded really similar to what Padover was talking about her, and it was even less
Mm-hmm.
than that. Like they were like Padover at least said she's part of the roster. Obviously, she's part of the plan for right now. Miller
Mm-hmm.
didn't even take it past that. She's like, right now she's under contract, and that's pretty much where it left off.
Whew. Yeah, that was
So,
not a vote of confidence. Uh.
a team like Washington, to me, they
Mm-hmm.
don't have like a lot of scoring there. Candy would have a lot of defense, a lot of veteran leadership there to really help her along. Could you
Mm-hmm.
see that potentially being a fit in a team that the Mystics trade for potentially? And I don't think it would cost that much. There's no way a team would get the package that we did. And I know you hate Derek Fisher, but you got to give him props for what he gave the Atlanta Dream. I mean, the trade
Yeah,
piece that we were able to get
I give you that.
Ryan, we got a season of Erica Wheeler. Like, I thought that worked out pretty good for us.
Yeah, it did. It did. And also, like, like Atlanta and the Sparks, they trade all the time. They trade all the time, especially with when Derek was the GM. But honestly, I feel like that's not a team that I thought of. But that definitely, I feel like that would be a nice fit for her because she doesn't have to come in and beat everything for the team or even take a major role. But
I
like
don't
she
want her
could,
on a rebuilding team again. I can't
yeah,
take that. I think she
that's not the
needs to be
move
in a stable environment, and I don't
in a
know.
winning environment. Cause
So
like,
who came to mind for you though? Because you said you didn't feel
you know what?
Washington.
Cause
What teams came to your mind?
I thought about this like prior to the end of the season when there were rumors about Skylar potentially trying to move and LA came up. So I was thinking maybe Phoenix. But I'm not like they have so many question marks too. It's like,
They really
well,
do.
like, should we throw her into more chaos or not? Because I
Yeah,
really want to see her thrive. I really want to see
me
her
too.
thrive. And I feel like Kurt was just like, well, I mean, but we know Kurt. Kurt can be a little something when he want to be. So who
If
knows?
Sloot comes back,
Yeah.
Noelle Quinn showed interest. Like she was one of the
Mm,
teams reportedly interested when Kennedy wasn't being played by us and everything. Um,
that could be a move to make.
that would be interesting. Her and Jewel and Sloot, and
Ooh.
yeah, like
Yeah, that would be kind of scary, honestly. That would be
there's
nice.
potential. So I don't know. I feel
Mhm.
like whoever gets her though is going to get a value. Like those are trading words. I would be stunned if she's still in LA. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I feel like LA needs to make at least one more solid. Well, they got to make a couple of solid moves in order for me to feel more comfortable. But like with the moves they made so far, it's just like, okay, I see where you're going, and
and
I'm not mad at the direction that we're taking. So I
and
like
since we're
that.
talking about the Sparks, like
Mm-hmm.
where do you see them right now? Like right now, I see them like middle of the pack. Like I said for the
Yeah.
Dream, like they have some like core pieces, and if they make like another move, like to shake it up a little bit, they could
Mm-hmm.
easily be competing for home court advantage. Are you getting like the same vibe or?
Same vibe because honestly, the coach that we have with the roster that we currently have, I can see it. I can see it happening. Like re-signing NECA, that was the biggest piece. And
Talbot
they
was a low key really good move too.
yeah, that's the one that kind of made me think, okay,
Yeah.
so we're going somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where, but that's a move that a team makes when they're trying to shore up a playoff run. Because Talbot is that she's a shooter, and we need shooters. We need them consistent shooters. So I feel like adding her was a great piece. And then re-signing Lexi. I know some people, I don't know what people's like beef is with Lexi, because what she did last year, she could score. She was shooting at the three at a high clip, and she was playing defense. Like, she was really locked in on the defensive end. So that's all we needed to do. We don't need her to be like the star, because like NECA is supposed to be the number one option. So like her being the shooter, her like floating around the perimeter and playing that defense, what else do we need?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, and I don't know, like, I just want to talk about the Hamby situation a little bit, like, because obviously we don't have a lot of words. I definitely don't think it's right that there's been no statement from the Aces still, but they've made statements on their moves and everything. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, we just
more
gonna leave that
details
where
have
it's
to
at.
come out. But
Yeah.
I will say I love NECA handling the situation last season. I don't think she wanted to play with Cambage the entire time, but you didn't see it
Nope.
come out at all. Like, just I
Yep.
think she has the best leadership in the league, and I want her to succeed. So,
Me too. Cause like
but
literally, yeah, cause all these years of being a Sparks fan, like she's been there the longest now. She's the longest tenured player. I think she's going into her 12th season. Shoot. Ooh, that made me feel old. Anyway, because like me and her are the same age, so it's like, dang, like she really been in the league 12 years. But like she's playing just as well. Like, see her blossom into the player that she's blossomed into, and you know, playing with Candace for all that time. It's just like, and now seeing her on her own, like that being her team now. It's, you know, I feel like she's gonna be a lifer. I feel like she's gonna retire in the purple and gold. I hope so, because you know
she
my
seems awfully committed. I kept
yeah,
wanting
she's
her to like
very
explore
very
other
committed.
options, but I don't think she met with any teams. Like, I didn't hear any
I don't think she
reports,
did
so
either.
I think she was
And
committed to
honestly,
LA for the whole time.
yeah, and honestly, like from the press conference at the end of the year last year, it was pretty obvious. Like she made her demand. She's like, "All right, so we're not gonna do this like we did the last 2 years. We got rid of Ballhead, and like Ballhead and Ballhead Senior, they're gone. So let's make some moves. Let's make some moves. Let's sure up some spots. Like, okay, I like this player. I like this player. We work well together. Okay, let's make something shake." And I feel like pulling in De'Erica, pulling in Jasmine Thomas, those were great moves. And the only question I have for them is at the 5.
Yep.
That's the only question I have. Because like y'all can say what y'all want to say about Katie Lou, but Katie Lou, she shot very, very well in the beginning of the season. It kind of tapered off a little bit at the end, but she was among the top, just like Lexi. So I mean, I have a couple of questions, but mostly at the 5. But hey, it is what it is. We'll get there.
It's true. So going up north, I think it's really hard to be a Seattle Storm fan right now. Like, you got the excitement, like you were thinking like full on rebuild. When Stewie signed, they're like, oh no, Sloot's going to go with her. And then all of a sudden there was the brief report of Sloot going to Seattle. Then that was taken away. Like, you
There's
only
so
have Joel Lloyd for a season. Like, how are you feeling about their situation right now?
Yo, I feel like they just striking out on a lot of players. Same thing with like LA, they were striking out too because they went after some big players and they weren't able to
Them
like.
losing Talbot was shocking.
Yeah.
I thought for sure she was going to resign, and she wasn't feeling good apparently either about what direction they were
Yeah.
potentially going.
Her
So
and Brittany Sykes also was
I
like,
I
she had
thought I
met
was like,
the
okay, she's going to replace Gabby Williams. This is going to be like perfect, and then they're
exactly.
still going to be competitive, and it did not happen. Yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be that's something that I'm gonna keep my eye on, because like we could be talking about Seattle being a bottom dweller, and
if
that is
they
scary. We haven't been.
don't get Sloot, absolutely rebuild, and they need to trade Jewel and see what package teams
what they can
offer,
get.
because
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, there just wouldn't be a lot there as far as pieces to be able to compete. Like what you're able to get in free agency outside of that, like there's enough to be competitive, but at that point you just might as well just build into youth and getting lottery picks, like starting from
Exactly.
scratch. So
Because like, here's the thing: if they really want to be, if they want to, they're not going to compete this year. Let's just keep it a buck. Even if they bring in Sloop, I don't feel like that moves the needle enough for them to be like at the top or even in the middle, really. I
okay.
mean, I believe in Jewel Lloyd, I really do, but they really have pushed her to that like that third slice when she really should have been like at least number 2. Sometimes I feel like with the way that they like structured the organization, I just felt like she kind of got lost in the sauce a little bit. So I don't know. I just don't know. Even if bringing Sloop in, it would be like a major like theme, like it
Okay.
should be, because I feel like that
And
would
I
be the third
disagree
star.
because of what you said. Like, I think Jewel is one of the most underrated players.
Definitely.
And I think her getting the keys this season, like, there's no way that she doesn't get the keys. Like, even with Sloop
Oh yeah,
there,
she
like, she's
definitely got
going to be feeding Jewel. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she is going to get her looks. And yeah, I think
I
she
see where you're going
thrives
with it.
with that increased role. Like, I think Sloop changes everything. If they don't get Sloop, I think they totally commit to the rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
But if they get her, I think you try to do one more competitive season before you let it all go potentially. Like, I
I
don't
say
know.
go all in right now. If they do that, you got a shot at getting Beckers. You get a shot at getting, you got some dogs coming up in
Olivia
2024.
Miles,
So
Caitlin Clark, like just Anissa
exactly,
Morrow,
like
just a lot.
the next few drafts are gonna be, So I'm like, well, shoot, why not try to shoot for the number 1 pick? Y'all got
I
like
agree.
it's worked out very well for y'all before. Like all 3 of the players that were in your big 3 were number 1 picks. Y'all were able to create low key a dynasty. So like tear it all down if you have to. I feel like this might be the time to do that.
And to me, it depends on Sloot, and then I'm 100%. And another team that is right on the edge too is the Chicago Sky, who I really like. I like some of their pieces,
Mm-hmm.
like Cobb. I really like Gardner that finally got to play, and she did really well. But I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a similar boat as like if Seattle doesn't get Sloot, if Chicago does not get Azare, I think they're in trouble.
Oh yeah, they're in big trouble. And it sounds like they're not getting who I thought they might get in Erica Wheeler. I don't know why they didn't see. I don't know. Did they have a meeting with her?
Yes, they did. Yep,
They did.
it
Well,
was a couple days ago. Yeah,
but I don't understand like how you let her go to India. Like, why did you let her go back? Because I feel like that would have been a nice piece, unless y'all are ready to move forward and let Dana be Dana. What's wrong with
that's my
getting Erica?
thoughts.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Like,
I would hope so at this point.
but they still need some. Like, I'm just
They
very
need
curious to
something.
see what they do from there. But maybe she was about to go to Seattle Sloot, and then maybe she's just going to backtrack on her goodbye and just come back. Like,
I
I'm
doubt
just
that.
kidding.
I
No, I'm
doubt
kidding.
that,
But
but yeah.
I talked about in the off season. I really like Jordan Canada. If they got some more scoring pieces,
They would
because
need a
we
lot more
can't
speed.
have her. Yeah, they cannot have her be the main, like be relied upon to score. That would I do
Yeah,
not think that would be a good recipe. But if they can pick up some other pieces, there's potential there. But we talked
yeah.
about before that just there's not a lot of free agents at the point guard position that move the needle. Like Mariah Jefferson, have you heard of any meetings that she's
I
taking?
haven't heard anything, and that is like baffling to me. I feel like that's gonna be probably a maybe a Friday or a Saturday move that
I have a theory on her. I
Okay,
think
what
she
you
stays overseas. I think she'll stay the
mm,
whole season and not come back
oh,
because there's
I
been
would
no
hate
like
that.
it's just too weird like what
Yeah.
she did for the Lynx after being traded by Dallas, to
Mhm.
not hear any buzz at all, like any teams that
That
she's
is
meeting with or nothing,
yeah,
it's
that's
a little
crazy to me.
suspicious to me.
It's very suspicious because I feel like she should have been like in the mix, taking offers from everybody. Like I don't understand why I haven't heard any buzz. It's been a couple of players like that, but like she's one of the main ones. I'm like, so
Same with Tiffany Hayes. Like there hasn't been
yeah,
any rumors on like, oh, she's coming back to Atlanta. Oh, she's speaking to other teams. Atlanta's shopping her.
like
Like it's just been crickets. So two
crickets.
players that their seasons extend beyond like overseas. If they stayed the whole time, it would extend beyond the beginning of the regular season. Then they would be suspended if they didn't show up on time. So
Yeah.
very curious to see how that turns up. Since we were talking about Indiana anyway, how are you feeling about them right now after signing Wheeler? Do you still see them as a for sure lottery team, or how do you see them?
That's one of those 11 teams that I'm thinking about. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they might be a little bit more in the mix than they have been in the past couple of seasons, only because like you're getting a Leah Boston. Let's just go ahead and throw that out there. You're gonna get a Leah Boston.
Yep.
You already have uh
Egbo, Nalissa Smith, Emily Insler,
exactly
all in
like
there. Yeah.
now I wonder what they're gonna do, or if they're gonna move Tiffany Mitchell at all. But
That was my thoughts too, because
yeah, I wonder if they are. Because I feel like I've heard like I've seen little nuggets here and there that indicate maybe, but I'm not so sure. I mean, if you keep her, great. But if you can move her, I feel like that's a very valuable piece that if you can move her, why
no, and
not
she's been
try?
playing like because she's been in Indiana, people do not know like how well she's been playing
Exactly.
there. Like she was
Seriously, like
she was the biggest. Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say, like, I was very, very upset when Indiana matched that offer when she was trying to sign with Atlanta. I was like, man, that would be a perfect move. And then they shut us down. I'm like, ah, because I really like her play. Like she that girl for real. And
Yeah.
people like they don't really get to see her like that.
No, and like I talked about Cheyenne a lot, like as far as all-star buzz and everything, but I feel like she was the biggest snub. Mitchell not making the all-star
Mhm.
was the biggest snub to me. Like what she's able to do. Like Indiana would have been even more flustered without her in the lineup. Like especially in their backcourt, they were thin. Like the front court, the prospects were there. There were some promising moments from each of their
Oh snap.
prospects, but the backcourt, like Lexi Hall, like improved like the last quarter of the season. I felt like, but it was very up and down from there and everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just feel like she means so much to the Fever, and it would be cool seeing her in another organization. So,
Yeah.
and you have Henny backing up. Like I
I
feel
love
like there
it.
should be a move too. Like
Mm-hmm.
if they're signing Wheeler, maybe they are shopping Mitchell, and maybe that's something like if Seattle wants to extend their window a little and everything, like
Mm-hmm.
maybe they make a move. But yeah, I struggle.
Yeah, I
Are there any
definitely
teams that come
like
up to you like on who might take a risk on her?
make a move for Tiff or Kelsey.
Huh?
On Tiffany or Kelsey Mitchell. It's two Mitchells.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Which
one
one?
that I always get them mixed up. The one that's a point guard and not an unrestricted free agent. I think Kelsey's the one that's the
Yeah, I feel
unrestricted
like
free agent. Tiffany's the
Kelsey.
point guard. I always get them mixed up and I feel so bad.
But yeah, cause like both of them are like bomb. But like Kelsey, ooh, man, I could see Kelsey in a lot of different places. But I feel like Tiffany is probably gonna be the easier player to move, and I feel like
Well, Tiffany's an unrestricted free agent, so she can sign
oh
anywhere.
yeah,
Kelsey's the one that
yeah,
signed. I just
she's
double
still under
checked.
contract. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, she's still
So
under
man,
contract for 2 more seasons with the Fever.
I
So
will listen. Kelsey if anybody, like, I don't know exactly who I would move her to. Maybe Minnie. Maybe Minnie. I feel like
Okay.
Minnesota could use
They definitely have a hole there, so
and exactly, and they need to move some cap space. They need to move some freaking cap space. So I feel like, shoot, why not move maybe McBride and maybe like a future pick? I feel like
yeah,
that could work.
McBride maybe would bring fans in for like
Yeah, because
the
exactly,
Notre
she
Dame
went to Notre
connection.
Dame. Exactly.
Another Notre Dame connection. I know I brought this up for the Dream, but
Mm-hmm.
Skylar Diggins Smith, like Indiana is a team that can afford to be bad another season. If they make a trade and then she agrees to extend because of being in that area, she decides she wants to be closer to home.
Skylar wants a championship. I don't know why people want her to go home without a championship. Stop trying to send my girl home without a ring.
I would be stunned too and a little sad for it, but I really think Indiana is a team that's on the up and up. Like just with the pieces they have, like you said, they have Boston, they have another first round pick this season and everything. Like the pieces are there, and they have the cap space to make like a bigger move. Like I don't know, I brought up Egbo for a reason because they would have the cap space to pay Tiffany Hayes. Like if they bring in Tiffany Hayes, they have Mitchell. They have Egbo, Boston, Smith. Like there's something there. Like
I mean, it would definitely be an interesting team to watch because like they're gonna steal some games. Shoot, they did it last year. Like they're gonna steal quite a few games from some teams that's gonna be falling asleep at the wheel and be like, all right, we playing Indiana, so I mean, all right, just go do whatever. Nah, you ain't gonna be able to sleep. So I mean,
and I'll make a prediction on them. Like as long as they don't tear it up and make, because you know the Fever makes some just questionable moves to say the least. As long as they don't do those, they keep like the main core that they have there already. They draft Boston. I'm predicting them to make the playoffs. I really think they do. I think they get the AC. I think they get swept, but I just think there's going to be enough improvement from the players that are already there and what they're bringing in. I see them being much more competitive this season. So
that's very, very interesting.
I know it's way too early probably to be making those with their roster not really filled out, but I really...
We about 3 months out, but I mean, I see the vision. Am I completely on board? Not quite. But what I can say is they are definitely going to make some noise. I'm not sure how close they're going to be to making an A spot, but I feel like, hey, they're gonna be in the conversation. They probably going to be on the bottom end of that conversation, but I feel like they're definitely going to be making a little bit of noise. So that's going to be one to watch.
We're close to an hour. Let's do this ESPN style and just go rapid fire through the rest of the team since we covered the other ones more.
Okay.
Shade intended. So Minnesota, I'm not confident about them at all. Those fans should be worried if they don't get Azare. I'm very concerned for them because they got someone that's not even going to be rostered with them, making $155K in the Chanwa. I'm just not feeling confident about them. How are you feeling about the Lynx right now?
I'm not so confident. They got a lot of money on the books, and I just don't see how they're gonna move unless they make some trades with like to bring in Azare, maybe shipping.
If they bring in Azare, that would change things, but yeah, I'm not as confident.
But yeah, I feel like that would probably be like a little swap going on there just to move some cap room too. So,
what about Dallas? How are you feeling about them?
I'm glad that they got T back, but I would rather her have gone somewhere else, to be honest. But you know, that's just me. But I think Trammell is going to I feel like they're gonna give her a little bit more room to do what she can do. I feel like then they gave VJ, and I still see them making the playoffs. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting to watch.
I got to figure out that Mabry situation. Like, what
they need to sign her like now.
No, I think she's gone. They would have done it already. I think she's getting traded. So
yeah, Fingers crossed that she goes somewhere that we want her to go.
What about Connecticut? How are you feeling about Connecticut right now? I feel like they're one of the biggest unknowns. They could go in either direction. Like
Yeah.
Brianna Jones got cored, but she still hasn't officially signed a contract with them. So I'm curious to see if they're going to go still try to contend right now, or if they're going to take a step back.
That just made me think of something, but I'm gonna keep that to myself. We're gonna see how it shakes out. But what I will say is this: Connecticut, they could go either way, but I feel like I'm leaning more towards them possibly sneaking in there. Now,
sneaking in as a contender or sneaking in as a playoff team?
Maybe middle of the pack, probably a fringe playoff team, but I still see them above a couple of like teams because I just feel like you got DeWanna Bonner, you got Alyssa Thomas. I mean, that works extremely well because think about the bubble season. The bubble season, it was just them. Like, it was just them. They were the 7th seed, and they, like, snuck past a couple teams, including a very, very stacked Sparks team that year. And they made it to, the semifinals that year? And
they made it to the semifinals a few times, yeah.
Yeah, and like they always find a way. Like, yeah, they don't have Kurt, they don't have Jasmine Thomas, they don't have Jonquel Jones, but
they just re-signed Heidemann and Williams, which I don't know how I'm feeling about that. They did it right before we got on that.
It's official because I heard that they were looking to re-sign them.
Okay, no, it was not official. So we probably saw the same report, but yeah, they were looking to re-sign them. So,
I mean, I don't feel like that moves them more than Alyssa and DeWanna. Like, I feel like that's where you should be looking. Like,
I have them as the 4th seed right now. So I have them
4th seed. Okay.
I think AT and Brianna, as long as both of those players are still there, I feel like they can get some like depth pieces at guard and everything. Like I feel like they're still going to be really hard to deal with. So
yeah, and then you got the new acquisitions. Ty Harris, you got.
I think they
Jasmine
are really
Walker,
underrated.
You got Ono.
Yeah. Walker is out for the season. Like I believe she's sitting out, but Ono is a low key really good acquisition. I'm sure LA did not want to lose her, so
they did.
Yeah, I think she's going to be a future piece there for a bit. So
yeah, definitely. That's gonna be something to watch. So I ain't gonna count them out yet. I wouldn't put them like at 4. I would probably put them more like 5, 6, but. Yeah,
okay,
I see the vision.
We're in the same ballpark, and then Phoenix is just completely unknown right now. Like I don't know what to expect. I'm just hoping BG. Like I don't know. It's such mixed feelings. Like I kind of wanted her to sit out this year, but at the same time, I get it. Like you want to get back into your routine. She's been playing basketball for so long. Like that's what's normal for her. And she's one of the best to ever do it. So if she's playing close to the level that she has throughout her career, anything's possible with that. Even though I don't like other pieces on there, yeah, there's still Diamond DeShields that's there. Skylar Diggins-Smith does stay another season, and she comes back for the last half.
Yeah, Diana, if she's coming back, well, this is the thing. Diana's gonna come back, and she's gonna play. And she's like, she might retire after this season, but she needs her, farewell tour. So
yeah, I'm just not going to comment. I'll let you do the comment on that.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
I'm only gonna say this: I'm not the hugest fan of Diana, but I mean, she's definitely gonna come back. But it still doesn't it's not gonna move. Like, I'm not gonna say it doesn't move the needle because I mean, even at she's 41.
Yeah, I think so.
She's 40. She's 40. She'll be 41. Like, I mean, she's still probably the best 40-year-old player that there is in the world. So I'm not gonna say too much on that. I'm just let it be where it is. I respect her as a competitor. I don't like her, but that's just where we're at. And and I feel like with BG coming back, I'm excited to see how she does. They were saying in the ESPN special that she was working, and she's got all the resources that she needs to be successful. So that's a good thing. And also, yeah, if she's anywhere close to how she was playing in 21.
Yeah. And I don't care who else is on that team. I know that I have some conflicting feelings on some players, but if she's playing, I am going to be rooting the heck out of her that she's able to.
Yeah, I'll be
well
happy for her.
Just love her.
I'll be happy for her. Everybody else besides Skylar and Diamond and BG, I could really
depending on who else. We don't know. There might be people we like, but they have not a lot of people signed too. Brianna Turner, I like her defense.
Yeah, I like Brianna Turner. Yeah, and when I don't know how far along Shea Petty is in her recovery. I did see a small clip of her working out, and it wasn't basketball workouts, but she's looking like she'll be able to maybe play this season, maybe.
And she was good until she got injured. She was playing at a really high level. It stunk. Someone finally gained the opportunity like that, and
yeah, it sucked. I really hated it because I'm a big Shea Petty
she's a restricted free agent.
All right, great. So yeah, hopefully she'll get to play this year. If not, best of luck in your recovery, because that's a hard one to come back from. But if she can get close to where she was, she'll be fine.
Agreed. All right. Well, that hour went by super fast. We did not talk as much stream basketball because there weren't major moves that tipped the table for us. So next time we talk, hopefully that big move happens. But
I need that.
As always, feel free to reach out to either of us, ENP_hoops for me, AmbeeWrites for Amber on Twitter. And yeah, we'll see what happens the rest of the week and leading up to the draft. We'll be talking, unless something happens, we won't be talking until next week, but if something happens this week, we'll find time on the weekend to discuss the big move and everything. So
absolutely.
We'll see what happens. But all right, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a great night.
Bye.